Hello there. Welcome back to Breakfast All Day. How's it going? How are you? I'm Christy. That is Matt. That is Alonso. It's the Cruella de Vil origin story you never realized you wanted and maybe still don't. It's called Cruella. Alonso really liked it, so he's going to tell you about it.
Yes, I did. And you have to let certain things go out the window on this one. Mainly that this Cruella does not want to skin puppies and she doesn't smoke. But beyond that,
Yet.
yet, that's true. Maybe she smokes later, or maybe she skins puppies. I don't know. I think she likes dogs. She loves dogs. They make that very clear in this one. She only doesn't like Dalmatians because they're mean, but then, they wind up working it out later. Anyway, so this is, yes, it's another Jim Henson's Muppet Babies version of a beloved Disney character. This time the villain of the 101 Dalmatians animated film and the two live action films. So basically, if she is born with that shock of black and white hair, is raised by a single mom, sent off to school where, she tries to be nice, she tries to fit in, but she has a very singular fashion sense. And when people get in her face and bully her, Estella, her Cruella side comes out. Anyway, after a lot of incidents with kids at the local school, she and her mom try to go start life over in London. On the way there, they stop at a fancy ball where the lady of the house ends up calling the Dalmatians out. And rather than attacking Estella, they send her poor mother over the cliff. So the child, now orphaned, makes her way to the city. She falls in with a couple of other kids, Horace and Jasper. They become kid criminals, but then she grows up to be Emma Stone, and she has a real flair for fashion, and her vandalization of a shop window gets her noticed by the queen of London couture, the Baroness, played by Emma Thompson. And as the two begin working together, Estella realizes that the Baroness is basically the architect of all of the misery of her life, and she sets out to destroy her by tapping into her Cruella identity. This movie is, as I described in my review of TheWrap, the Disney version of Derek Jarman's Jubilee for gay 8-year-olds, and I'm here for it. Yes, there's a lot that's wrong with this movie. It doesn't need to be 2 and 20 however many minutes
14.
long. 2:14. The needle drops are achingly on the nose, like in a Zack Snyder kind of way, but still, the costumes are amazing. Emma Stone is having a great time. Emma Thompson is having an even more fun time doing half Miranda Priestley and half Reynolds Woodcock from Phantom Thread. And I had a great time. And I love the fact that... And I love that they're tapping into 70s punk and basically turning Cruella into Vivienne Westwood. And they even give her like a very androgynous gay sidekick who's part Mark Bolan and part Malcolm McLaren. I dug it. I had fun.
Yeah, I like this too. I had a really fun time watching this. It is too long. The needle drops get a little old, especially because at some point they just abandon like when the timing even is, which is a little irritating.
Yes.
This is the thing that usually bothers you, Alonso. This bothers me greatly.
The needle drops there were so many of them. After a while, I was just like, okay, we're doing that again, and I just sort of went with it.
Yeah, it didn't bother me till towards the end, and then it's like, yeah, no, you guys, you've gone too far with this. I like this. I mean, look, like this movie, I think is gorgeous to look at. The fashion, the dresses, the costumes in this are amazing. And one of the things I liked about this movie, first of all, Emma Stone and Emma Thompson it's like a competition as to who could chew more scenery. And I am here for it. Like it's wild. It's so much fun to watch. The rest of the cast is also up to the task. The one guy who was in
Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah, Paul Walter Hauser, I thought was really funny in this. Yeah. I liked him a lot. I had a really good time watching this. And one of the things I really liked about this over, say, something like Maleficent is that Maleficent tells this whole story of like, well, she was abused and she was broken and kind of explains like she was dragged into this. Whereas I think the difference with Cruella is like, oh, she chooses violence. She chooses to be nasty. And the movie kind of celebrates it, which I was not exactly expecting, and I'm glad they went for it. It kind of made me think like, oh, this is the Disney movie version of, for those people that watched the first season of American Gods, there's this whole bit where Orlando Jones is telling these slaves in the slave ship, like, yes,
Right.
get angry, get shit done. And so when Estella pivots to being Cruella and really like fucking with the Baroness, it's awesome. And I dug this. This felt like a dark, seamy side of the London that, you know, in another movie was the late 60s, early 70s scenes with Austin Powers. Like Austin Powers during the day, and then at night, it's Cruella's London. You know, I almost expected him to come in, but yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. I like this almost as much as Alonso, but Christy did not.
And you know what? I wanted to. And we should mention Jenny Bevan is the costume designer here.
Yes.
She's incredible. Multiple Oscar nominees. She won for her costumes from Mad Max, Fury Road, and for A Room with a View. And it's not just that they are amazing, which they are, but there is like a vivid and varied array of looks here with incredible
all of which
details.
are germane.
They are totally germane, and stuff that Emma Stone is wearing and designing is like increasingly punk, and the stuff
And
that
some of them
Emma
are
Thompson,
essential to the plot too.
yeah, and stuff that Emma Thompson's wearing is like really sculptured. But this is directed by Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya. And so increasingly, this feels like I, Tonya meets Phantom Thread. It's like they said, we want what you did with I, Tonya structurally, tonally, but just like grafted onto this whole other character that already exists. And so it's a lot of the same narrative structure where you have the young version of her being incorrigible and chaotic. And then there's a lot of voiceover and like a lot of like whip pans, all of the Scorsese camera work that he borrows. It's all on display, and the needle drops. Let's talk about that specifically because they spent a shit ton of money on music here. And sometimes it is really painfully on the nose, like when she dyes her hair a dark burgundy from its black and white. They're playing She's a Rainbow by the Rolling Stones.
And that's been used in too many movies. Like we need a moratorium on that particular, because it's not even that great a Stones song.
And Feeling Good, I think we need to give a rest also.
Never again. Never again.
Love Nina Simone, but come on.
The one that made me the angriest though. Okay, so when we first see Estella, it's 1964. And then in the voiceover, she's saying, 10 years later, I fell in with Jasper and Horace, and we're doing this now. So figure it's like 74, 75 at the latest. Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash came out in 1981. I'm sorry.
Maybe it was an early demo.
Totally fucking nitpicky of me. I get it. But if you're going to try to evoke a very specific place and time in pop culture, in fashion, like you can't just go willy-nilly and like time travel forward because it's a really cool Clash.
That was the one that really bugged me.
But a Disney movie is not going to use God Save the Queen. Like they got, we need a punk song here, but one that's palatable. And so
right. And I think a lot of the earlier Clash songs wouldn't have worked in that spot. The other thing is, let's remember that aside from us, like most of the target younger audiences, it's all old music to them. They don't care. They don't know.
I guess. Well, that's a whole other question we need to talk about, which is who's this movie for? Because I don't think it's for little kids. Before we had our discussion today, I was doing KCRW press play with our friend William Bibbiani, or Bibbs, and he says he thinks this is for kids because it's just like, ooh, here's a shiny thing, and you can get a Cruella wig and they're not going to know that it's the music is off or whatever. But it just feels unnecessary to me to try to wedge in that much pop culture, that much stuff in a way that is that cynical. Let's also talk about, okay, who's this for? It's really, really long. Hold on, I want to finish here because I feel like it occupies this very uncomfortable, mushy middle with its PG-13 rating because it's not for little kids. It is too long and too intense and potentially too scary, but for adults, it could be more. It could be more exciting. It could be more satisfying. And while I'm watching it, I wish that there was the opportunity to just like push through and just make this R-rated Cruella and go where it needs to go to fully tell this person's story and explore her pathology and her destruction.
I mean, I agree they are trying to split the difference. And I think they mostly pull off. I mean, look, I'm not a parent. I don't know if this is this goes to some dark places, but I like to give kids the benefit of the doubt for that. Again, I'm obsessed with the original Willy Wonka, and I think that kids can handle more than we necessarily think they will. I think that for seriously young gay kids and young girls who are obsessed with fashion, this is going to be a great primer for them to sort of understand this period, and then later lock down the specifics and understand where the movie is sort of fudging the timeline or whatever. But I think that I think women who love fashion and love fashion history will kind of have fun with this, even while they have to overlook the fact that it's too long and some of the other kind of dopey things to it. I don't know. I had a good time, and I think that other people, I think this might be kind of a cult thing in that, yes, I think a lot of people are going to dislike it for all the reasons you stated, and I don't question any of those things. They are all in the film, but I think for the audience that doesn't care about them and is just enjoying the delicious bits that they pick up along the way, that's who this movie is for.
Go ahead.
I think there's going to be a nostalgia factor for this one that's different than, say, Maleficent, because that was an older character than this one. You know, this is a later movie, and we already had, we had 102 Dalmatians, which is really just a continuation of more Cruella. So I get kind of like, all right, sure, then we're going to do another Cruella movie, because we've already, we've had those other 2 live action movies with her, and she stole the movie. One of the things, and I get that, yes, this is hitting some similar notes that I, Tonya does, but the difference is you come out of I, Tonya, and as much as her life is messed up, you still kind of feel sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for Cruella. I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her to kick ass.
That's what the whole backstory with the mom is about. They want you to feel sorry for her to explain her villainy. I don't need to feel sorry for Cruella de Vil.
No, I don't feel sorry for her, because she pivots. She's like, fuck it, I'm taking everybody down. And one of the things that I really love about this is it really does, like, it gets as close as it possibly can to her skin and those dogs.
Well, let's talk about that.
Because she's like,
talk about that.
Those dogs would make a great coat. And,
right.
and her buddies are like, what? She's like, I'm joking. Maybe. I came away from the end of that movie like, oh, this Cruella is going to skin some dogs at some point. Like, she's absolutely, I think she keeps thinking about it, because every time they kind of joke about it, she's like,
giving the Dalmatian puppies to Anita and the other guy. So I don't think so.
Well, she needs those dogs to come from somewhere.
I look, as I said in my review on TheWrap, like, if Batman can be Adam West dancing the Batusi and like Christian Bale having an existential crisis,
sure,
then there can be multiple iterations of Cruella, some more devious and animal unfriendly than others, and I'm fine with that.
All right, I'm saying 5. Because while I love the clothes and the production design, I found the performances increasingly one note, and it's so overlong. And again, the music drove me nuts. And I don't know.
Whatever.
I wanted to love it. What's that?
Whatever, cruelty.
I am. I wanted to love it. I'm a fan of everybody's work here.
I gave it an 8. I had a great time. I was probably not as into I, Tonya as you, so maybe my expectations were slightly different. But I think that this is a movie that encourages kids to go out and learn more about this period and the needle drops they didn't hear in this movie, then more power to it. Bibbs in his he's been doing an ongoing ranking for TheWrap of like Disney live action versions of their animation stuff, and he thought that the fact that he thinks that the sort of anti-commercial ethos of punk clashes with Disney's marketing, but like Vivian Westwood and Malcolm McLaren were marketing the fuck out of the punk.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't see that as a contradiction at all. And I didn't have a problem with that in the film. I thought it was, I had a great time. And I think that not everybody's going to love it, but I think the people who do love it will love it a lot.
I give it a 7.5. And if we're going to go back a little bit to the question of who's this for, I a little bit wonder like, well, maybe this is for people who couldn't show their kids The Favorite. So they wanted to show Emma Stone doing something wild that maybe the kids could see.
And Tony McNamara is one of the writers.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. All right, number 6.8, Cruella is out there theatrically and also streaming for a premium price on Disney Plus.
Yes, Disney Plus Premiere, blah, 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 whatever it's called. So check it out or don't. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like this video. Follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Talking about Handmaid's Tale. This week we're doing our monthly Off the Menu, where our subscribers get to pick a film for us to review that we've never talked about before. And we'll be doing Chloe Zhao's directorial debut, Songs My Brothers Taught Me. Lots of other fun stuff that's exclusive to our subscribers. So please become one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.